Hi, I'm Alfred from Foresight Helmet Systems, and we build really exciting wearables. So we were sick of having click-on and modular devices on our helmets. They're dangerous, they're clunky, and they're really annoying to use. So we designed a fully integrated computing system for helmets. So this has a HD camera, it has a computing system up the back for telemetry, GPS, and also some cool audio in there, so you can spend more time on your sport. Right now the business has pivoted, and what we do now is focus on generating fantastic computing systems and software packages to integrate with helmet partners. So you've decided you want to do a startup. You're completely crazy, but here's some advice from me that might help you out. A really important part of starting your company is your shareholders agreement. This is something that plays itself out much later on in your business, but needs a lot of careful consideration when you first start. Don't go and download free online content and then put that out to all your shareholders in the beginning, because it's really going to cost you a lot of money in the beginning. So go to a law firm, get the correct advice, and get this done. It might be hard and arduous, but it's well worth doing. In our case, we had to get our shareholders agreement rewritten a couple of different times, and this cost our company a lot of money. It's important to set this out in the beginning, because when you raise money, you're going to need a solid legal agreement to take that money on board and protect the rights of your shareholders. Your biggest resource in a startup is time. And time equals money, but often you don't have a lot of money, so you have to pay people in shares. A great way of protecting you and your company when hiring new people is through a cliff or a cliffhanger clause. What this means is at a certain point in time, if these people didn't deliver or leave your company, they don't get those shares that you set out to give them. This is a great way of protecting your interests. Speed is super important in a startup. And often people want to put patents on their ideas. Usually patents are not the way to go right in the beginning. You have to get a provisional and it takes a very long time to defend it and a hell of a lot of money. There's some other ways to protect your idea and get it out into the market and have it protected to a minimum sense to get some speed on your actual company. So a way you can do that is by solidifying your brand, making sure your customers know you for your brand and don't want to buy competitor products when eventually it does get copied at some point. Another way is future-proofing your product, building functions into your product that aren't publicly disclosed to the marketplace until the product is launched, giving you what I like to use is a 3-month or 6-month gap between you and the people who are copying your idea. Usually if it's a good idea, there's someone else in the world right now working on that exact same idea. So your biggest strength is going to be speed. An important part about being in a startup is knowing your weaknesses. Typically startup founders are very strong-minded and they think they can do everything, but you really can't. Finding a good co-founder and other people in your company that can pick up the weaknesses that you leave off is really, really important to your company's survival. Often the idea that you start out with is not the one that actually generates revenue for your company. And typically when you change from one idea to the other one, it's called a pivot. So what a pivot means, well, for us, we were building helmets and we decided that, building the helmet part was going to take far too long to get our product out onto market. So we focused on the hardware and software packages under a licensing model. This was our pivot. From that day, we've been super successful getting that out onto the market. And this can work for a lot of different startups, but is risky. An important part of being an entrepreneur is knowing when to say no, knowing when to draw the line on a product, stop it and pivot it into a better idea, and learning from your failures. We use an 8 out of 10 rule, be it with focus groups, putting stuff up on social media, or using our other platforms to validate our ideas. What this means is 8 out of 10 people actually liked the idea and would buy it at market, whereas the other ones really hated it. And this is a great way to know whether or not that idea actually has legs. Often in a startup, we want to build absolutely everything inside the product. If there's something in the product that's like, for example, a map, why reinvent the map when other companies do that fantastically? You have to know where your weaknesses lie and what parts that you can leverage partnerships to make your product fantastic faster. For us, it was leveraging the helmet part of that. We were really good at the hardware, really good at the software, the design and the integration, but we were terrible at the manufacturing of the actual helmet. We didn't have the facilities, the brand, or the leverage to get it out there. So we utilized partnerships to get that product to the market faster. A great example of thinking that your product is fantastic is going out into trade shows and seeing what other people think. For us, we went to a big snow show and we were looking around and every helmet there had a little visor. It had some Aztec pattern on the ears and it was a pastel color. And we were thinking, why does every helmet look like that? And we had this fantastic tech helmet. The technology inside was fantastic, but the design of it was not fashionable or on trend. So we missed out on a lot of deals and things simply because of colors and not being on trend. So when you leverage big partnerships like we do, you make sure that those brands understand the marketplace, understand the trends in the fashion, and articulate a huge product line for you to get your technology out there. And this is something we did with products. It can be done with software as well, leveraging big partners over in Silicon Valley to get the product out there. Foresight wasn't my first idea or my first startup. And often this is the case with a lot of people. I had heaps of different ideas for different types of wearables, which I tested out on the market and didn't really get anywhere. I chose to close down that business and focus on ones that I was more passionate about, like the helmet stuff.